Hello and welcome to our program Arab Affairs that takes you on a tour and the latest happening in the Arab world. I'll be right back after this short break, so stay with us.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received a phone call from Bahraini King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa on the latest developments in Gaza Strip. The phone conversation covered the ongoing efforts for reaching a ceasefire and allowing access of humanitarian aid into the war-torn enclave in line with recent UN resolutions. President Sisi greeted Bahrain over its National Day, wishing the kingdom more prosperity and progress under the leadership of King Hamad. The two leaders also discussed enhancing bilateral ties and cooperation in light of the distinguished brotherly ties binding both nations. Egypt reiterated its rejection of any attempts to forcibly displace Palestinians outside Gaza. The Foreign Ministry spokesman Ahmed Abu Zaid's remark came in response to statements by the Israeli Minister of Strategic Affairs encouraging Palestinians in Gaza to leave the besieged Strip. The spokesman clarified that all Israeli practices against Palestinians on the ground reflect their intentions to enforce Palestinians to evacuation outside their land, which is a flagrant breach to international humanitarian law. 8 trucks continue crossing into Gaza Strip through the Egyptian side of the border as 148 trucks entered overnight carrying relief aid and commodities. Egypt has sent an aid convoy of 80 trucks into Gaza loaded with humanitarian, medical, food and aid supplies. After more than 2 months of the Israeli war on Gaza that have reduced much of the Strip to rubble, UN agencies and aid groups fear the territory will soon be overwhelmed by starvation and disease. UN Palestinian Refugee Agency UNRWA said that at least 288 displaced people in its shelters in Gaza have been killed since October 7. It added that 271 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli occupation forces, including 69 children in the occupied West Bank, marking it as the deadliest year for Palestinians killed in the West Bank since UN began recording casualties. The UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has said that 271 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank since October 7. UK Prime Minister Sunak said that his government will continue supporting calls for a permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and urged for more humanitarian aid into Gaza. He said that Britain has increased its aid to the Palestinian authorities and that his country is keen to see that gets to those who need it. Sunak added that his country's long-standing position is that the two-state solution remains the right settlement for the ongoing conflict, noting that his government supports a political settlement for the Palestinian cause based on the two-state solution. Iraq said it had arrested several attackers who fired rockets at the U.S. Embassy last week amid high tensions over the Israeli-Hamas war and found some had links to security services. A salvo of rockets was launched early Friday at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone, the latest in a flurry of such attacks amid the war in Gaza. The attack caused no reported casualties or damage, and there was no immediate claim of responsibility. Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudan's office Thursday reported several arrests over the attack and said that unfortunately preliminary information indicates that some of them are connected to certain security services.
Welcome back. With great sorrow, the Arab Republic of Egypt mourns Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmad al-Sabah, who passed away today. And in a statement, an official statement, the Egyptian presidency said that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Egyptian people mourn the deceased leader, who was supportive of its Arab and Islamic nation, keen of affairs, wise in his leadership, and gave great efforts and generous to his country. And we have more details in the coming report about the late Emir. Kuwait's Emir Court announced on Saturday the country's ruling Emir, the 86-year-old Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Sabah, died. Kuwait State Television made an announcement that read, "With great sadness and sorrow, the Kuwaiti people, the Arab and Islamic nations, and the friendly peoples of the world mourn the late His Highness, the Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, who passed away to his Lord today, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Al Sabah." The cause of his death was not immediately disclosed. The Emir was admitted to hospital late last month due to what the state news agency described as, at the time, as an emergency health problem, but said that he was in a stable condition. Kuwait's deputy ruler and his half-brother, Sheikh Mash'al Al Ahmed Al Jaber, now 83, is believed to be the world's oldest crown prince. He is in line to take over as Kuwait's ruler. Sheikh Nawaf was sworn in as Emir following the 2020 death of his predecessor, the late Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Sabah. Sheikh Nawaf previously served as Kuwait's Interior and Defense Minister. Sheikh Nawaf's term had been focused on domestic issues as struggled through political disputes, including the overhaul of Kuwait's welfare system, which prevented the Sheikhdom from taking on debt. In 2021, Sheikh Nawaf issued the long-awaited amnesty decree, pardoning and reducing the sentences of nearly 36 Kuwaiti dissidents. He issued another just before his illness, aiming to resolve the political impasse.
كان الأسود الكثيف المتصاعد من كل قبل لحظات كنا نتابعه لعله جرى.
نعم، الآن يتم استهداف
أهلنا في فلسطين محتاجين نقف جنبهم كتف في كتف في الوقت ده. وعشان كده مؤسسة حياة كريمة هتساهم في دعم أهلنا في فلسطين بكل المساعدات الطبية والغذائية الممكنة. شاركنا في دعم ومساندة